This is a video tutorial for the lecture 3, the flag project. Well, let's get started. So first, let's launch the Visual Studio 2017. I hope everyone has Visual Studio installed on their own computer, because Alright, first let's create a new project. New project. We're going to select the Windows Form app and .NET Framework, Visual Basic. Okay, so So here we have a designer window. So this is a designer window. We have a solution explorer, and we have a property window. So the flag project is that we want multiple flags, pictures of flags displaying here. And whenever you click one of the flags, and there's gonna be a message showing down here says some general information about the nationality and the country the flag represents. So first we're gonna create some picture box. Alright, before that I want to cover something else. So how do you actually reset the window layout? So for example, if you accidentally close this window, and if you accidentally close the property window, and if you accidentally close all the window, what you can do is you can just go to the window and select the reset window layout, and then everything will back to normal. So let's click the toolbox. So we have to use the picture box control this time. Alright, so double click, and we can drag it, resize it. Okay. So here's a trick. So see if you want to add multiple same type of controls inside the form control. What you can do is you can just select the control and press Ctrl C and press Ctrl V, and then you will have, so the Visual Studio will just duplicate this element for you. So alright, let's add some pictures into the picture box. So what you can do is you can go to the properties and you select the image, you click this button right here, and do not use the first one, always use the second one, always use the second option, project source file. So whenever you move your project folder, the pictures will move with you. So but if you select import local sources, and the pictures were scattered around your computer, and when you move your picture folder, the project might not be able to find the picture on your computer. So it is always the best practice that you choose the second project's resource file, and then you click the import, and you go to the right. I forgot to download the pictures for the picture box, so let's go to download some pictures first. Alright, so let's just quickly download some picture to the desktop. So desktop. Alright, okay, so alright. We're just going to use this one. Alright, we have successfully downloaded some pictures, and let's go back to the project. Alright, I see the pictures inside the pictures folder, so here we're just gonna select the United States flag as the first picture and click OK. As you may notice that the only partial of the pictures has been displayed. We have to change the alright, so let's select the picture box, and then it goes to the size mode, and we change it to stretch image. Okay, and we select the second picture box. We did the same thing. It goes to Nigeria flag. Click import. Excuse me. Click OK. So, and then, alright. So only partial of the flag is displayed. So I have to change the size mode to stretch image. So stretch image. Right. So we have two flags now. Now I want to add something else. Is that I want to add a label box, so to display the general information about each country. So just double click the label and drag it here. So, right now it's time to add some functionalities to the flags. So to the picture boxes. Right. So how do we view the source code? You can just right click on the designer window on the form, and you hit the view code. And then there's the source code. So you click this tab, you go back to the designer window, you click this tab, it goes to the source code page. If you close it, and you can always use the view code to go back to the source code. So here let's talk a little bit about the class. So public is an access modifier, and the class is, you can imagine it as a container for a set of procedures. So the class begins with a class keyword and ends with end class keyword. So, and the class will have the same name as the form. Say if we change the form name maybe to form 2 and hit the enter. Okay, you can see that actually the name here hasn't changed, but the class name has already changed to form 2. So the class will have the same name as the this form. So form is a type of also a type of control inside the Visual Basic environment. So all right. So how do you actually add functionalities to these flags? So, well, recall that the class is a container for a set of procedures, and these procedures are event handlers that's gonna handle all events happen inside this form. So you can certainly you can just type in all the events handlers just by yourself, but that's not practical. What you can do is you can just double click on the flag, and then the Visual Studio it actually automatically creates a event handler piece of code for you. So now we have this event handler that's going to handle the click from the picture box 1. So alright, let's double click on the second flag and create a second event handler. So this event handler says picture box queue.click is gonna handles the picture box queue.click. So and alright, so whenever the event arrives, these procedures gonna get called, and all the statements belongs to a procedure gonna get executed. So here we can just type label 1. So what is label 1? Label 1 is the name of this label control. Initially, we want to set the text of this label control to empty, so we just go to the text property of this label, and then we clear out the text and hit the enter. So, and then we have empty label control. So, all right. So you may notice that right now you can't actually adjust the size of these label control. That is because the auto size has been set to true. If you disable it, so now you can actually resize the label box using your mouse cursors. So right now, so if I click somewhere else, you may notice that so this label box is actually disappeared. Well, it is not disappeared. It doesn't have any thing to show you, so you don't know it's there. What you can do is you can go to the border style and click and select the fix a single for the border style property, and then and the label box becomes a concrete solid line box. So alright, so we want to display some text into this label box. So we just go to the source code. We just type label1.text equals to, alright, let's try to find some text for United States. Alright. Okay, so we have successfully add some text for the label one text. So let's try a different one right here. Let's do the same thing for the picture box too. So okay. Alright, let's test our project. So to test it, you just hit the start. And this Visual Studio compiles a project for you. So it says, alright, there's some build errors. Would you like to continue and run the test? Now we're gonna find the errors first. So, alright, here I have a typo here. As you can see, label 1 is not detected. So that is because I have a typo here. So it should be label 1.text. And then let's try my project again. So okay, so let's try to click the image. Alright, so all the image is working fine. So when you click them, the corresponding text will show inside the label box. So, or you can hit the X or this button to stop the project from running. So, alright, so you might notice that the text is too long. So the text inside a double quote mark, inside a pair of double quotes mark, is actually a string value of Visual Basic. So any string value inside Visual Basic is actually gonna begin with a double quote and then ends with a double quote. However, sometimes if you have a very long string, you will have a hard time to actually put them. So this string line is too long, and it's not convenient for us to view it in the source code. So what we can do is we can use multiple line string. What you can do is you can use the triple mark double quote. So and it adds another triple mark at the end, and now you can break the string into multiple lines. So now this piece of string and this piece of text looks better. So we can do the same thing for the second one. So Alright, let's test our code. Click the flag. Okay, so you might notice that when the lines, when there are too many lines, some of the text is not displayed. So how do you do that? How do you resolve this problem? What you can do is that you can actually go to the design window and select the label control, and you goes to, well, you can simply just resize it. And let's try again. So right, so if you resize the window, so if you resize the size of the label control, all the text is now successfully displayed. What else you can do is that you can actually set the auto size of the label control to true. Okay, and then let's try again. So when you clicked on the image, alright, so the label control actually adjusts its own size to match the string and lines. So actually this way it looks better. So alright, so now I want to add another functionality. I want to add a button that makes this flag disappear. I mean, after it's disappeared, when I hit the button again, the image will comes back. So how do we do that? Let's first add a button. So let's first stop the project. So you can never, so it is always a best practice that you start the project from running, and before you can actually edit any window and source code. So button, add a button. Alright, so I'm going to place this button on top of this flag and change the text property of this button to display or hide. So hit enter. So okay, now how do I add a functionality to this button? Very simple, just double click on this button and the Visual Studio will automatically create a handler for you, and you can type in your commands. So you want the so it has two situations here. So when the image is disappeared and we click the button, we want the image to show, and then when the image is displayed. So and we click the button, we want the image to disappear. So we need to use an if clause, and we just type image. So we need to refer to the flag. So we can refer to the images by its name property. So it is a picture box control, and its name property is picture box.1. So we just type picture box 1 dot visible. Alright, so visible is a property that comes with a lot of controls. So I mean, a lot of controls come with this visible property. So visible property is a Boolean type value property. And what is a Boolean value? So a Boolean type value is only has two values. One is true and another is false. Okay, so whenever you set the visible property to, so visible property is a Boolean value. If you set it to false, true. So this is gonna test that if the picture box is visible or not. So type Xen. So picture box on visible. So okay, so this statement is essentially saying that this piece of block of code is saying that if the picture box 1 is visible, okay, then we set the picture box 1 to invisible, because we actually set the visible property of this picture box to false. So it's going to disable the picture box, and then so this is actually a if block. So what happens is that the when program is executing into this procedure, the first thing it does, actually it goes through the first statement here. It's going to test if the picture box 1's visible property is true. Only if it is true, then the statements inside this if block will be executed. So, and we also need another logic, is that when the picture is not visible, we want it to show. So we click the button. So visible equals to false. Right, and we have to add a return here. So so whenever a procedure gets called, all the statements inside the procedure will actually get executed. I put a return here to force the procedure to stop executing immediately. So whenever the statement comes into a return, the whole procedure is going to stop executing. So okay, so I put a return here to stop these two blocks of code from being executed at the same time. So let's try to test our project. So so if you click the flags, right, text is going to display. Very good. If you click the button, and it's functioning, so everything looks very good. Alright, now I want to add another button to actually allow user to quit this application. So we're going to add another button. Okay, first we need to stop the program. So add another button. Alright, put this not fail. Alright, something's wrong. Okay. Okay, so you actually have to go back to the designer window, so you can use the toolbox. Okay, so we have, let's double click on this button to edit. So alright, now I want to exit the program using this button. So we're going to set the text of this button to exit. and create an event handler for this button. So just double click on the button, and so we comes to the event handler for this button. So we just type in me.close. Right, so let's try to test it. Right, everything looks good. Hide, display, hide, and exit. So, alright, so this is the end of this project. So, and this is whole source code for the flag project, and this is the UI design for the flag project. Okay, so that's the end of this project, of this video tutorial. Alright, thank you guys for watching. So